So listen to this.
Over a certain period of time in your career, your team's rim attempts when you're on the floor are 45% of your shots. That's not from you diving somewhere there.
Yeah.
That's from your movement.
Chaos.
When you're off the floor, it's still pretty high, but it's down to 27%. That's pretty good. So your influence is 18 percentage points on rim attempts, and that's not from you. That's just people's respect for your gravity, the game plan of do we switch, do we bump, do we show, like you staying at home, like you talked about screening, they don't leave your body. The decisions, we got some clips to pull up here of the finals.
Oh, yeah. It's most dangerous.
Okay, so LeBron James just said something on his podcast that completely changes how we should be looking at Caitlin Clark, and what's wild is, nobody in the WNBA seems to be paying attention. Steve Nash is sitting there, breaking down the numbers, and you can literally see LeBron having this moment where he's like, wait, this is exactly what people get wrong about elite players. By the end of this, you're going to understand why the Fever might be making the biggest mistake in franchise history, and it's not what you think.
I'm going to stop it right there. They're talking about Steph's rookie season where he put on muscle and he started shooting the ball worse. And if you guys remember during the WNBA season when Caitlin Clark was in her shooting slump, again, we do not know why Caitlin was in such a slump this last season. It could have been because of the lingering injuries that she had. Of course, they jumped from leg to leg. But you have two of the best basketball players of all time sitting on this podcast right here and talking about gaining muscle mass to your body, how that can affect your shot.
Did you catch what just happened there?
Steph Curry's coach shooter and destroyed his shot. Now, here's where this gets insane. Caitlin Clark showed up to her sophomore season noticeably bigger, with way more muscle mass than at Iowa. And then what happened? Her three-point percentage dropped off a cliff. She went into this shooting slump that had everyone confused. Analysts couldn't figure it out, fans were panicking, but you just heard two of the greatest players ever explain exactly what happened. Most people think adding strength is always good, more power, more explosiveness, better defense. But LeBron straight up says, there's a lot of guys that come in a certain way, and they're told to put on weight, and it can affect the shot. This isn't some random theory. This is LeBron James telling you that elite shooters are different. Their mechanics are so precise that even small changes to muscle mass can wreck everything. And the scary part? Steph's coach knew this immediately, first week of training camp. Shots aren't falling, and he's protecting his generational talent before the season even starts. But the Fever? We don't know if anyone had that conversation with Caitlin. She's never mentioned coaches pulling her aside, saying, hey, we need to slow this down. Instead, what did we hear all season? She needs to be more efficient. Too many turnovers. Maybe she should shoot less. The efficiency police came out in full force, and that mentality, that obsession with perfect percentages, that's the exact...
And now, this was before the new age of the NBA when everybody is just shooting so many threes.
Yeah. And now it's like, it's not uncommon for like 3-4 guys on your roster to shoot hundreds of threes.
Shot quality is still, jury's still out on where the league is. Bob Myers was the first one who told me, like, yo, you should shoot 15 threes a game. I was like, what? Like, you know how hard it is to get 12 good looks up? Like, but he's one that was like, why not? The math says, 15 threes for you is great. Like, oh, yeah. So you start thinking about it. But, yeah, the game strength is more crazy.
What was it? Was it that conversation? Was it Stevie Kerr?
Wait, hold up. The Warriors GM told Steph to shoot 15 threes per game, and Steph's reaction was, what? Even he thought that was crazy. But check out what happened next. They went else. Now, think about the WNBA discourse around Caitlin. How many times did you see people saying she's too ball dominant, or that the Fever play better when she's not forcing things? That's the exact mindset that would have kept Steph taking 8 threes a game instead of 15. The Warriors could have played it safe. They could have said, let's keep your efficiency up. Don't take those deep ones. Wait for better looks. Instead, they went all in. They said, you're changing the game, so we're changing our entire offensive philosophy around you. And here's what blows my mind. Steph went from one season to the next and shot 2,000 more threes. Not 20 more, not 50 more, 2,000. That's not a small adjustment. That's a complete organizational commitment to letting their superstar be a superstar. No restrictions. No efficiency police. Just pure, we trust you.
What was the impetus behind taking a 200
the way that we created shots was a big part of it. The offense that he instilled, where it was less, traditional pick and roll, less pick on game, more movement,
post to pass,
all that stuff. Where you're creating. So the concept of all 15 threes, cool, but they're not all created equal in terms of game pressure, the rhythm and flow of how, is it one pass shot? Is it ball's changed side 3 times and you're coming off and you move, touched it, got back, relocated? That's a different shot percentage-wise than the exact same shot from the exact same spot.
Okay, so Steph just explained something crucial that everyone misses. He's talking about shot quality, but not in the way most people think. It's not just about being open or being close to the basket. It's about rhythm. It's about the flow of the offense, a three-pointer off one pass after Steph relocates. That's a completely different shot than the exact same spot after the ball swings around 3 times. Same distance, same shooter, totally different percentage. This is where the Fever's offense has been struggling. Because Caitlin creates chaos. She breaks down defenses with her range and her passing. But if the system isn't designed to maximize that chaos, you're wasting her impact. Golden State built their entire offense around Steph's movement, not just when he has the ball, but when he doesn't have the ball. They understood that Steph running off screens, relocating, cutting backdoor, all of that creates the rhythm that makes those threes go in at 40 to 45%. But what did we see with Caitlin? A lot of standing around. A lot of isolation. She'd make a brilliant pass, and then just watch. And that's not her fault. That's a system problem. When you have a player who can shoot from 30 feet and thread passes through triple teams, you need motion. You need constant movement. You need everyone else understanding that when she gives up the ball, that's when the real magic happens.
15, and Steph Curry talks about he went from one season shooting a certain amount of threes to the next season he shot over 200 more threes in that next season. And this is where Steph Curry starts to make leaps in his career. He's shooting more threes, but he's also becoming a greater player. The Warriors are starting to win. All of these things contribute to a winning system of basketball because they are setting up the style of basketball for a player like Steph Curry, for a player who is changing the game with the way that he plays, the generational shooter and talent that is Steph Curry. And I think there's also been this really weird efficiency.
Did you hear what Steve Nash just said? When Steph is on the floor, the Warriors get 45% of their shots at the rim. When he's off the floor, that drops to 27%. That's an 18% difference. And here's the thing, Steph isn't the one taking those rim shots. He's creating, and we actually saw this with Aaliyah Boston when Caitlin was on the floor. Aaliyah got so many more easy looks. The paint opened up.